Hello, this is Dr. Dave Massack talking about reciprocity.com, the sharing economy proofreading platform that I am trying to build. And today, the video I'm going to talk about is knowledge as a source of competitive advantage. And this is all related to small business and startup Saturdays. This is a video series I'm trying to put out to help out small businesses and startups. I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship at a large state institution in Florida. You're going to have to forgive me in this video. It's probably going to be slightly distracted, or I'm going to be slightly distracted. We are currently dealing with Hurricane Irma at this moment, and I thought I should put out this video because I know that this is really important to me to get these videos out. I know that other people rely on this for their ideas and to get different strategies to help build out their own firm. So please do bear with me. I know that this was really important to you to get these videos, so please do bear with me. The hurricane's coming very, very shortly, but I thought I should put this out because I know that you do depend on it. So I wanted to actually point out on how critically important knowledge is to the competitive advantage of any particular firm. And this is one thing that you should focus on. Small businesses and startups often get this wrong. They often forget about that, how knowledge is so central to the strategy of the firm. So what is a competitive advantage for a firm? Well, competitive advantage is something that is unique to the firm that allows it to perform better than its rivals. So you can imagine a landscape of firms if you're in a particular industry, or maybe you're a startup. Sometimes startups are difficult to sort of place together and put them in a particular industry sector. So it's the firms that you imagine who are your competitors, who are in your what's in your cognitive set, right? What's in your mental model of who are the other firms that are out there. So those ones, you have to think about what you do better than what everybody else. And it's often not the things that you think is the case. It's often not the particular technology that you possess or anything like that. It's often the knowledge that you possess. And that knowledge is embedded, and I mean knowledge is a set of ideas that you contain or that is contained within the firm. And that knowledge is embedded not only within the minds of the people that are there. So so for me, if I'm building out this software application, it is just myself, right? But there are many other different sources. If you have 5 employees, for example, it's all the ideas that are in those 5 different employees. They're really smart. People are really, really smart. They have great ideas. But it's not only within those those people, it's within the group themselves and how they interact. It's knowledge that's contained within the routines of the organization. So these are kind of like sets of sequences that happen within the organization, the sequences of action that happen within the organization. So those things all contain knowledge that are very, very important, as well as the culture, for example, of the organization. There are different sources of where you can actually get knowledge. One of them is within the organization. That's what I was talking about. Like this might be people. For example, it might be the culture, the routines, but then there's also external sources of knowledge that are so important to the organization. So what do I mean by external sources of knowledge? These are things like your vendors, your suppliers. They often give you a lot of tips and tricks along the way and how to improve and make the consistency of whatever you're making. Maybe you're making beer, for example, and they can give you better products. They can tell you what better products are to improve the consistency of what you're trying to manufacture. Now, it might also be the users or the customers. So they're kind of different. Sometimes they're different. It depends on the particular industry you're in. But say the customers, that they have a really good sense of what is great for the organization. In fact, there was Eric von Hippel, who's one of the most prolific innovation scholars out there. He's at MIT, and he did a lot of work on user innovation and showed that users were a tremendous source of innovation that happens. User knowledge is a tremendous source of innovation that happens within a firm. Upwards of 50%, maybe it's 80% of all the innovation comes from insights that users and as well as the customers have, that are giving to the firm. They're telling you how to tweak things and improve things along the way. So you have to make sure that you're well aware of this. And what you need to do is leverage the internal resources that you have to allow you to absorb. And this is somebody, Dan Leventhal at Wharton, he's quite famous at this point, pointed out that firms need absorptive capacity, so they need more knowledge. The more knowledge that they possess internally, the better able that they are able to gather external knowledge that's out there. And that is incredibly important. So how do you gather that? It's like absorbing it, right? So if you train your employees, if you train your human resources, and you continuously invest in them, they're going to be better at able to pick out things in the environment. They're able to do a better job of picking out what to improve in the environment. And so what are the things that allow you, what kind of knowledge allows you to get a competitive advantage in the marketplace? Well, this is generally tacit knowledge. This is knowledge that is really difficult to explain. And the reason is that your competitors cannot copy that. It is very difficult to copy that tacit knowledge that is possessed within the internal and external knowledge of the firm. And it's difficult, very, very difficult to copy. And that allows you to get a jump on your competitors and whatever you're making or whatever you're doing, right? So that tacit knowledge, that stuff that's not codifiable, that is the stuff that's really going to benefit you in the long run. And you should leverage that in all ways that you can. And it's not just the tacit knowledge that's possessed within the firm with all of the employees and stuff like that, but it's also outside of the firm as well. All of your users and people that are looking at whatever you're making, and you're gathering information from them. Those are really incredibly important. And so what you should be doing in order to gain and improve on your competitive advantage is really nurture that. Nurture it as much as possible, right? So if you're starting to make some revenue and you're growing, make sure that you do invest in continuing education. Get some courses, do more courses. That is important. If there is an employee that wants to specialize in a certain thing and they think that it's going to be useful, invest in it. Allow them to go on that particular thing. They're going to be able to invest. Maybe they want to become a Java expert. I don't know. Maybe they want to be an expert brewmaster if they're in the brewing industry. Maybe they want to be a web page developer, and they need to, a front-end developer, they need to understand all the nitty-gritties. Maybe they need to know Python. Maybe they need to know how to, and if they're in the fabrics industry and they're making t-shirts, they need to understand the different kind of fabrics that are available. Well, you need to invest in them. If they want to go do some courses in that, allow them to go, pay for them to go as much as you can, as much as you can afford it, so that they can come back and bring that knowledge and invest in your company and grow your company. You're going to benefit more from that than you are of not allowing them to go and not developing their skill set. Right? So you want to make sure you're always investing in your human resources. Make sure you're always investing in your external knowledge as well. Encourage the users of what you're building to give back as much as possible, to help you out wherever they have insight and how to help you out and stuff like that. Now, again, because you're probably with a startup or a small business, you're limited with funds, so you can just make note, right? You can make note of all these different changes and say that you're going to make these changes along the way, and this is what we're going to do along the way. And then you just rank order the changes that you're going to make along the way. That's going to be really, really important. Apologize for the helicopter going over top, but again, there's a hurricane going on, and so there's lots of military vehicles going back and forth. So I just really wanted to point that out, that it is incredibly important for you to nurture this knowledge as much as possible, both internally within the firm, investing in the people, as well as externally investing in other people that are going to help you out and be knowledgeable to you in the future. So make sure you invest in them as well, in those knowledge assets, those external knowledge assets, the users that are there, the customers that are there. All of that stuff is incredibly important to allow you to get a competitive advantage in the long run and invest and grow your company and allow it to perform in the long run. So if you like these videos, if you like this particular video, do the old thumbs up. You can also do a that's fine too. You can also help me out by watching other videos. You can look at the other ones. ones if you're interested. I put out every Saturday stuff about small businesses and startups. There's also all sorts of interesting things too about graduate school if you're interested in that, as well as being a writer. Any sort of stuff about science that I think is interesting, is relevant, much more relevant to business schools. So all sorts of stuff. You can look at that as well. If you're interested in the Reciprocity Project, what I'm doing, the E is spelled with a 3, so it's reciprocity.com. The E is spelled with a 3. You can check that out. It's a proofreading website that's based on reciprocity. You can also buy some credits if you do need to get that done quicker. It's kind of a sharing economy proofreading model. You can look at that. You could also look at older videos where I explain how this all works and all that kind of stuff. So with that, thank you so much. I do appreciate everything that you do and you're following along, and I do apologize for me being a little bit distracted in this video because of the hurricane efforts, but God bless everybody that's in South Florida right now, everybody that's in Texas, and everybody that are in the islands in the Caribbean. We are definitely thinking about you. So thank you so much. Have a good day and take care. Bye.